the darkest in the family. I have been getting told to bleach my skin since I was like 8. I don't think you guys understand how hard-headed that generation is. Like the later Gen X, early Boomer generation. No, they don't care. They don't care.
Dominican moms be like,
no.
What would you do if your own mother tricked you into bleaching your skin? Today we're talking about skin bleaching and the stubbornness of African mothers and everybody else with darker skin that does not seem to like their skin. Skin bleaching is a very, very common practice among Africans, Asians, and now I'm learning even Dominicans. But I'm so happy that the children that are being raised in this generation are deciding to just say no, not me. I'm not doing that. It ends with my mother. It ends with my grandmother. And unfortunately, these mothers and grandmothers do not seem to like the audacity that their children have to love their own dark skin. And so when they cannot seem to convince their own children to view their skin in a negative light, they move on to their children's children. And this time they try to start a little bit early because they want to make sure it's engraved in their mind that their skin is not beautiful.
Dominican moms be like,
No.
Las dos muñecas lindas de
No, yo voy a
Ori.
buscar las que están allí.
¿Y cuál es la que están allí?
Las que yo tengo allí guardadas.
¿Y cuáles son esas? Estas son las de ella,
Espérate, yo le voy a
que se
buscar.
parecen a ella.
Mire,
This is the doll that I got her.
mira la cara, mira cómo ella los cachetes, mira.
Ella no le gusta esa muñeca. No le gusta. No le gusta.
Ella sí le gusta.
Ten, Ori. Ori, ten. Ori. Ori. Ori, ten. Ori, your dolly.
Mira la misma cara de tu hija, mira los cachetes, mira. Esta es la...
¿Cuál es la misma cara?
you see, that is the way of the old school Dominican who was raised in Trujillo's era and is still very much brainwashed. Because you were indoctrinated by a dictator who hated black and brown people, 65 years later, your granddaughter can't even play with a doll that looks like her. Because you were told to stay out of the sun, that black and brownness was ugly, and that you should strive to be as light as you possibly can. That if you have a wide nose, just keep pressing it down so it gets smaller and smaller. We got to get rid of all of these traces. ¿Y para dónde tú vas con ese pelo malo? Why are you leaving the house with your natural hair? Why do you not have a fresh blowout every second of the day? And if you are too dark and you can't get away from your blackness, don't worry. Just tell them you're Indian because you're different, right? You don't even give these children a chance at learning how to love themselves because you're so busy telling them what to fix and how to fix it. You hand these children a step-by-step manual on how to absolutely hate everything about themselves. And then you say, hey, yeah, go create a family, but tú tienes que mejorar la raza. Trujillo's favorite slogan, tú tienes que mejorar la raza. You have to procreate with white or lighter people to get rid of the blackness. Nah, but Trujillo wasn't racist. Hold on, are you talking about the same man that slaughtered thousands of Haitians in 1937? And then turned around and accepted 100,000 Jews at the border, gifted them each 80 acres, a horse, a mule, and 10 cows. And he did that for 2 reasons. Number one, he was in hot water because the rest of the world found out about the Parsley massacre. And to get back in the world's good graces, he basically accepted these people who really did need help at the time, but it wasn't because he cared. It perfectly aligned with his goal to whiten the Dominican community. But honestly, him and his descendants, I'm not arguing with nobody Rosa Parks would have shot the motherfucking out of. I will instead say that I'm proud of this mom and our generation for fighting back against the bullshit that our parents were taught. And because for so many years they have radically taught us to hate any sign of our blackness, I'm proud of our generation for radically teaching these children to love the shit out of themselves. And I talk about this in my book, that you think that Dominicans are just natural born hairdressers, and all they are professional kink removers. It is so healing for me to see little girls rocking their curls because I did not see my natural hair pattern till I was 20. And this is why I say that loving yourself unapologetically is the most radical thing that you could do.
I honestly don't understand this because as a mom that didn't learn to love myself back then, I should be looking down at this and being proud of the fact that my own child has learned to love herself and is fully accepting of who she is. Why are you instead trying to change it? I am so proud of these new moms, and honestly, if I saw my mom do that to my child, that would be the last time she'll be in the presence of my child, and she'll be writing letters and sharing in Zoom calls in order to get to talk to her. And good luck with figuring out how to work with Zoom because we all know. I'm only laughing because my mother is actually not tech savvy at all, so the thought of her setting up a Zoom call or any other video call for that matter is quite funny to me. But thankfully, I will never have to worry about that because my mother has always been the one to check me when it comes to my skin. I've always struggled with acne, and I've tried for a long time now to use creams that most people recommend and swear that they work for acne best. And 9 times out of 10, every time I use them, I end up clearing my acne, but the cream ends up lightening my skin. And every single time, my mom was the first person to let me know, well, your acne is going, but what's happening to your skin? Why is it getting lighter? So thankfully, this skin bleaching topic is not something that I ever have to worry about when it comes to my mother. Now, I understand that not everybody is as fortunate as I was, or as fortunate as this girl is with a mother like that. There are still some women out there that are trying to bleach their own children's skin, baby's skin, and also trying to bleach their children from the womb while pregnant.
If you're pregnant or you plan to have a baby in the nearest future and you're looking for ways to naturally lighten your baby's skin right from the womb, yes, this video is for you. Are you looking for ways to naturally lighten your baby's skin? Yes, it is totally safe for newborns.
Is it craze? Is it ignorance? Is it wickedness? Is it low self-esteem? Because I cannot understand how some of you have moved from bleaching yourselves to bleaching your children. Just when I just think I have seen it all, I can't wrap my head around it. It's a trend on social media now. Help me, my baby was born fair and is now turning dark. What do I do?
Go and ask your grandfather.
Take a nap. Auntie, please take a nap. Firstly, the baby is not complaining. A dark complexion is not sickness. If you are worried, go and see a pediatrician. Secondly, babies go through a lot of changes before they arrive at their destination. I mean, today they are looking like you, tomorrow like their father, next tomorrow like their great-grand uncle. I call it metamorphosis. Thirdly, a healthy skin has a tan. Stop trying to impose your perception of what people's skin or complexion should look like on innocent children. Bleaching poses the same danger as in adults, even more in babies. I mean, skin failure, cancer, kidney injury, burns, name it. A healthy skin, that should be your focus, not bleaching. As long as their skin is healthy, whatever complexion they have is just right. The fact that I have to be explaining this thing in 250 words is paining my soul. This issue should be a criminal offense. Hdegi, apochegi, straight up.
The denial you have to be in for you to believe that your baby's placenta, skin, and hair is going to last forever is unbelievable. Because what do you mean that your baby's skin is finally beginning to change, or that she no longer has that good placenta hair? And sometimes the reason why these mothers end up doing this to their children is just because they are ashamed that they do not know how to explain themselves. Having a child that looks nothing like them, when they look like this and the child comes out looking like me, it's unexplainable, even though genes can be different, but for some reason it's unexplainable. And some men that actually end up marrying these women, trust me when I say this, some men are literally looking around for light-skinned women to marry just so they can have light-skinned children. When the children come out looking like me and their mother looks a different color, they kind of suspect something is going on, which is not in its own a valid reason to question your child's color. But they kind of suspect something is going on, and their mothers do this to cover their tracks and try to make sure that nobody's suspecting of the fact that their default setting isn't actually what they have shown you for a long time to be this light-skinned woman. Now imagine how exhausting that has to be, because now you have to bleach your entire generation just to make sure that nobody questions you. And guess what ends up happening when your child doesn't want to be a part of the cycle anymore? This.
So my mom bleaches her skin. I'm the darkest in the family. I have been getting told to bleach my skin since I was like 8. She stopped bothering me about it, especially because one time she gave me soap that was supposed to help with my acne, and then it bleached my baby hairs, and I found out it was skin bleaching cream soap. Anyways, I don't think you guys understand how hard-headed that generation is. Like the later Gen X, early Boomer generation. No, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care at all. That whole black is beautiful thing, yeah, no, they don't care. My mom, to this day, still bleaches her skin. The only thing I can get her to do is wear sunscreen. They are so brainwashed to the point where they just won't hear it.
I'm honestly so proud of this girl, but what I don't understand is why you as a mother are not proud of her for having the audacity to love herself in a way that you didn't have the courage to. The shackles have really locked them into so much so that you don't even see the beauty in this. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everybody else that bleaches their skin was taught by their parents to do so. I know for a fact that somebody could have a beautiful mother like mine that instills beautiful values in them, but they just do not stick. There's only so much a mother can do to prepare her child for the world out there. A lot of the work has to be done by you.
Can you tell me why you started to bleach your skin?
It's like you growing up in school, you have mainly guys making fun of your skin color and calling you charcoal, calling you dark. So growing up, you just start to feel like, oh, okay, no one likes me because of my skin color. Like, okay, I see. So that kind of does something to your head, you feel me? And also we have social media. They do praise lighter skinned women, Latinas, whatever, pale skinned women. So that kind of makes you feel like you're not desired, you feel me? So, and that's why I started bleaching my skin. That's why I started skin lightening because of it, you know. But I do have negative comments, people saying you hate yourself, you wish you were white, this and this and that, you're a follower, like just a lot of stuff, but I don't really like listen to it. I really don't care. I guess how society sees dark women, like we're basically the losing team. Like who wants to be on the losing team? I felt like lighter skin women, they were more desired and they get away with more and they have more privileges than I did. And also, I also thought that personally, I also thought I looked prettier lighter. And for me, I honestly I don't think it's a big deal because I feel like people want to be darker and people want to be lighter. So I don't see why it's such a taboo. I'm not ashamed of it because I kind of see the hypocrisy in it.
Being a lighter person, I do experience a tremendous amount of privilege, and I'm not denying that of you at all. I think what upset me about the skin bleaching is that a lot of mothers do it to their daughters, and from my own experience, sometimes your parents do it to you and you don't have the consent of the child, or someone like me could end up much lighter than I was in my childhood and kind of have an identity issue. And it's just, for me, it's a matter of consent.
And also, I feel like you have to ask yourself, what's the goal? You know, the goal is to end colorism, racism. I feel like you changing your skin tone is just feeding into the cycle.
And some people just personally feel like they look better lighter, just like some people feel like they look better with makeup on. Why don't you just tell everybody, love your natural skin, you don't need makeup. The
being
skin bleaching
systemically
is
oppressed from not wearing makeup though, whereas someone with darker skin might experience systemic racism.
It's hypocrisy though. That's what I'm trying to say, and that's not fair.
And I also don't think we can just ignore that there's such a terrible history of racism and colorism, and that's why it's a bigger deal to people when people are bleaching their skin versus when people are putting on makeup. And yeah,
like with social media, light-skinned people are important and they're pretty and this and that, and that's the same thing I want to feel. So, and there's a lot of benefits that come along with it, and I want the same benefits. And I'm be honest, I want the same benefits. Like I don't care.
The expectation that dark-skinned girls should just love themselves regardless of what is going on around them and how society treats them is ridiculous to me, to be honest with you. But I also understand that bleaching your skin, which is the alternative, just feeds into the cycle, like you say.
In a way, I actually do sympathize with her, and I understand that any colorism is not just as simple as telling the victim to block out the outside world and just love herself. It's honestly a collective effort from the people that are victimizing her, the victim herself, and also the people that get preferential treatment because they are light-skinned.
So you can't expect me to bear everybody else's responsibility. Don't burden me with having to be strong. Don't burden me with having to have this high tolerance for your idiocy. You have to be held accountable for how you treat people and how you speak to them, and I will be held accountable for how I react to how you talk to me.
There's literally nobody that hates the conversation about colorism like light-skinned girls and black men, and it says a lot about the internalized racism amongst black people. You guys literally don't think it's that deep, and it's so ignorant, and I'm gonna tell you why. A few years ago, I will never forget this because it literally marked me for life. These two dark-skinned girls came up to me. I think I was walking in the streets. I came from the shop. And they were like, "You're so pretty. You're light." Literally, when I heard them say that, I didn't take it as a compliment. Instead, I started to feel sad because I was like, ish, they're associating beauty to light skin. Because if they had just said, "Oh, you're so beautiful," then I would have said, "Oh, it's not that deep. Like, they just think I'm pretty." But because they mentioned the light skinness, then I was like, ish, okay, they can already tell that if you are light, you are pretty. They already have it in them that light-skinned girls are pretty. So as much as I'm not necessarily like light or a yellow bone, but to them, anyone that's a shade lighter than them is good looking. That was literally just one scenario, and I've experienced many more. But it said a lot about the backgrounds or homes that they come from, because if you have a father that dated your mother because he didn't want dark-skinned kids like him, and then it happens that the mom doesn't give birth to light-skinned girls, and it's so popular, guys, like it's so common that light skin doesn't dominate, dark skin dominates in the genes. Light skin is a recessive gene, so it can only dominate if the father also has light skin somewhere. But if the father is dark and his family is dark and the woman is the only one that is light, then it's not going to dominate. And that's literally what people don't understand. But anyway, so if your dad dated your mom because he wanted light skinned kids, and then you come out dark skinned like him. That internalized colorism that the father preferred a daughter or a child that is light skinned is going to show, and the children are going to know it. You can try your best to hide it and act like, you're okay with your daughter being dark skinned, like it's not that serious, but it's going to come out in many ways. For example, if they have cousins or family members that are constantly picking at their dark skin, you don't stand up for them. You just say, hi, and just brush it off. Like, you don't stand up against it and say, no, that is not right. My daughter is beautiful. Just because she's dark skinned doesn't mean that she's ugly. When you have a mom that felt honored to be loved by black men because she was light skinned, you're going to suffer, because when you are going through dark-skinned girl problems, she's not going to be able to help you. She's not going to be able to defend you because she doesn't know what it's like to be you, and she didn't care. So she's not all of a sudden going to have information or know how to help you because she never bothered. She always thought that she was superior and everybody else was jealous. So I watched an interview by Busisa some years ago, and she was saying how she was so shocked when she came into the industry that people were calling her ugly and saying that her complexion was dark and ugly. The shockery came from the fact that she spent her whole life being told by her family, her mom, her dad, her sisters or brothers, that she was the most beautiful girl in the world. And that's all she's ever known. So the minute she went into the world and the world said, you are ugly, she was like, oh, hell no, that can't be true. Because I was brainwashed to think that I am pretty, so there's no way what you're saying is true. I fight colorism every day because that's what I want for my kids. Like, I want my kids to have a father that says, hey, when I tell those kids at school that they must stop lying because you look like your dad and your dad is handsome, so you are definitely beautiful, like they must stop lying to you. This dark skin, this nose, these eyes, you got them from me, and I am handsome, so there's literally no way you're ugly. If you're someone that loves yourself, loves your complexion, love people that look like you, it will literally show. Like, it will literally show, and your kids will know it. So yeah, guys, if it's not that deep and it's just a preference, then go ahead. But your children are gonna suffer in the long run.
Now, if you have skin that's been bleached and you're trying to go back to the default settings, and I pray to God that you do, I want to let you know that it's not going to be easy. And I know if you have thought about it, you've already looked up the process and you've seen people, it's not really the easiest thing to go through. There's going to be a period where you don't look like yourself and you don't look like the person that you used to be. You don't look like the person that you're trying to get to. So I know that most parents actually are praying that you see that and you don't go back. If you are a kind of person that your mother or whoever was your guardian at the time bleached your skin, I know that in their mind they were praying that if I do this earlier enough, she will not have the courage to go back. But if you have the courage, and I pray that you do, if you have the courage, here's a few videos on what you should do. I wouldn't know, so I'll just let them help with this part.
I stopped bleaching my skin. My skin went from this to this and then this now. Vividly from this, I would classify transitioning into 3 stages. First stage is the worst stage, second stage is the bad stage, and the last stage is the better stage. The good news is that your skin will eventually get better. Let's talk about the first stage. The moment you stop using those harsh chemicals like high loads of steroids, mercury, and hydroquinone called bleaching products, your skin begins a process called detoxification. This is basically your skin just letting go of all those steroids and harsh chemicals that it has absorbed over the years. The number one thing to do immediately you stop using that bleaching product is to get premium hydrating and moisturizing product. Now is not the time for you to buy vitamin C, skincare active, harsh chemical. Go for products that have hydration and moisturizing in it. After buying hydrating and moisturizing products, then sunscreen, the number 2 thing to do immediately you stop bleaching your skin is to incorporate supplements into your routine immediately. I mean good dietary supplements like evening primrose oil, collagen supplements, vitamin E supplements, and zinc supplements if you are breaking out in your stage 1. You're going to do this for a month or 2 and then you move to your stage 2. By that time, your skin had already done its worst and it's time for your own comeback and revenge in stage 2. In this stage 2, now is the time to start buying your Medis lotions, your vitamin C lotions, your alpha arbutin serum, brightening toners, discoloration serums, treatment products, hydrating products, vitamin C and the likes of it to fight your skin concern. This stage takes longer time and consistency with lot of money to clear your skin damages, hyperpigmentation, stretch marks. Some people stage 2 takes 3 months, some take 6 months, some take a year. Now let's fast forward to stage 3, the part where all things are bright and beautiful. And if you make it to stage 3, you have completely transitioned from bad skincare product to good skincare product. 60% of people that make it to this stage end up being a skincare influencer, skincare content creator, or skincare vendors themselves. And I'll always recommend these people because experience, they say, is the best teacher. Most of these skincare influencers have actually been there. Name any skin challenges. They've been there, they've fought, and they've won. This is how to effectively transition from bad skincare products to good skincare products.
People that met me when I was like this, whenever they see me now, the next thing is, are you sick? I'm not sick. I went back to factory reset.